Elie, you know the saying, it's time to put away childish things. 25 minutes into the hour, it might be time to put away the legalistic things, which is part of our job, and we've reported it out. And I explained what the cert is, and I read it, and we talked about the calendar. But we invited you on tonight as someone who knows the law but is not necessarily limited by some of the, shall we say, BS. And so I was curious what you think the Supreme Court is actually doing, not what it's saying it's doing, not what might feature elegant prose at the end of the day in the ruling, but what do you think it's actually doing?
They're trying to make Trump win. The whole point of this ruling is for Trump to win. Ari, remember how, let's say, all of 2022, I came on your program and I screamed and I tore my hair out over how Merrick Garland was moving too slowly to hold Trump accountable before the next election? This is why, because you have to understand what the Supreme Court is really about. I know you like to give your viewers context, so have this on for some context about what the Supreme Court is really up to. Trump was kicked off of the Colorado ballot, all right? And around December 20th last year, the Supreme Court spooled up that case and heard that hearing within 45 days on February 8th, all right? Trump was appealed his immunity, Judge Chutkan's immunity ruling, also in the middle of December. Andrew Weissman just pointed out, Jack Smith asked the Supreme Court to hear the case on December 14th. By the time we get to April 22nd, it will be 130 days since they were asked to hear the appeal. So it's 45 days when a ruling could hurt Trump, but 130 days when the delay can help Trump. That is the essence of this Supreme Court. And every single Democrat who is not on board for expanding the Supreme Court and reducing the power of these Republican theocrats in robes is in some way complicit in today's failure.
Excellent numerical, factual context. Michael, your thoughts?
I want to pick up on something that both Neil and Andrew pointed out, and it really goes to the heart of what my friend Elie just laid out, and that is Donald Trump has basically said, as president, you can't come after me. Now that I'm done with my presidency, you can't come after me. And the court is now in a position to say, yeah, let's sort of stretch this out a little bit longer. And the reason why the timeline is very problematic is the court knows that election voting begins immediately after Labor Day, in some states as early as the last 2 weeks of August. So the idea that you're going to delay even addressing this issue possibly to the end of the term, June, tells you there is no way in hell you're going to get this case before the process of being adjudicated before then, before this election is over. And so the idea then falls back on the lower court judge, all right, in this case, Judge Chutkan, to basically chuck it until after the election, because there's no way she's going to be in a position to have Donald Trump hauled into court to sit during trial in the middle of a presidential campaign in September, October.
And so let me take that alley-oop logically to Elie, which is these are smart lawyers who've become judges who understand all this. And we are not talking about some random, debatable offense that occurred while someone was in office. That does happen, right? We are talking about whether there will be any adjudication of an effort to overthrow the election results before that person comes back into power, Elie.
Yeah, and they don't want that adjudication to happen. Remember, we haven't talked about this, but remember, even while granting the case, even while granting cert, the Supreme Court didn't have to grant the stay. They could have allowed Chutkan to continue with her trial preparation and her trial calendar while they were deliberating the issue, right? They didn't have to grant the stay. That was a choice. just like it was a choice to wait 130 days, just like it's a choice when they finally hear the case for how long it's going to take them to release their opinion. All of these choices, as you say, are to help Trump explicitly, because cui bono, as Cicero would say, cui bono, who benefits? Who benefits from this delay? Americans, American democracy, right. Knowing who is allowed to run and who we can vote for? No. The only person who benefits from the Supreme Court's slow walking of this case is Donald Trump himself personally, because it gives him a chance to win re-election before accountability comes reckoning upon his head. And that is what the Supreme Court is complicit in doing.
And I think
they might as well call themselves on his defense team. It's not like they're going to get paid anyway. They might as well just put themselves on his defense team's roster.